Hate me, don't you?
Tune in to Kons podcast.
You hate me, don't you? You hate me, don't you?
Damn, nigga.
You hate me, don't you?
He was supposed to fight Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? We all wanted to see that fight, but some people were saying that Tank Davis wasn't going to stick to the script. You know what I'm saying? Write him up however they want to write him. That's why you got fucking 100-pound fighters fighting 200, 300-pound fighters, and they in the same ring together. You know what I mean? Shedeur Sanders' home was robbed. You know what I'm saying? Like he was at his debut game playing against the Ravens, I believe. You know what I'm saying? They said the robbers took about $200K worth of belongings. But it's good to see he in a cool little headspace, though, saying that nothing can phase him no more these days. But now we know the NFL would put him through a little ringer. You know what I'm saying? As far as what team he gonna play on, getting bounced around. New info on this David case. You know what I mean? New info is coming on this David case. You know what I'm saying? They investigating how he had went out to Santa Barbara. You know what I'm saying? Way out in the woods at some remote location in the middle of the night. Swasikas and nooses. You know what I mean? Swasikas, nooses, Confederate flags is no longer gonna be looked at as hate symbols by the U.S. Coast Guard. That is a hate symbol. Somebody come in to spray paint a noose on my house. You know what I'm saying? On my garage. They can't go to jail or get caught for a hate crime. If somebody comes and spray paints a swastika on my house, on my windows or something, yeah, what's going on? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? This Kons podcast, you know what I mean? What's going on this fine Thursday? You know what I'm saying? November 20th, you know what I mean? 2:14 in the afternoon, you know what I'm saying? What is happening? You feel me? But yeah, man, I hope y'all is doing cool. You know what I'm saying? Episode 334 today. Got a few little topics for you today. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all enjoyed the last episode. I was letting you know about new updates on Tekashi's house being robbed. Everybody thought it was the Island Boys. You know what I'm saying? I showed you a few clips on that. Also, 6ix9ine cleared it up. Said there was some kids from the neighborhood. Also let you know new information on the David case. How they was looking into him traveling out to that house and talking about some photos of the people involved of where Celeste was also seen with. You know what I mean? Also let you know that Google founder was giving you warnings about the futures of AI. You know what I mean? So that was last episode, though. You know what I'm saying? For today, episode 334. You know what I mean? We're gonna be touching on J. Paul, Anthony Joshua. Got a few little clips on that. We're gonna touch on Shedeur Sanders and his house getting robbed. Also new info on that David case, and also new law that's coming on swastikas and nooses. Lord have mercy. But yeah, you know what I mean? That's what we're going to be touching on today. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all is doing cool on this good little Thursday, pre-weekend, before the weekend. You know what I'm saying? If this your first time here, you just now subscribe. You feel me? This is where we go over the news, go over the headlines, go over whatever headlines you might have seen on whatever pages, whatever is your homepage that when you log on to your computer, you know what I mean? Whether your homepage is MSNBC, Yahoo News, Google News, Hip Hop DX, wherever it is that you get your news from, I'm probably touching on one of them or two of them headlines right here on Kons Podcast. You know what I mean? So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Tell your people about it. Hit the share button. You know what I mean? Let me keep you updated on this wicked world. You know what I'm saying? But here though, you know what I mean? Without no more further ado though, since it's 4 topics, we're going to go ahead and jump right into them. You know what I mean? Without no more chit chat or banter. You know what I'm saying? So J. Paul, you know what I mean? J. Paul, we all know he was supposed to fight Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? We all wanted to see that fight, but some people were saying that Tank Davis wasn't going to stick to the script. He was going to go in there and knock J. Paul out, you know what I mean, which is what a lot of us want to see. So now he's fighting Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people is speculating and got their opinions on this. They fighting December 19th. You know what I'm saying? Fans are skeptical if it's going to be rigged or not. You know what I'm saying? Dana White, somebody was at a press conference and asked Dana White if he knew or what he felt about Joshua and Jake Paul. Yeah, this is say, check it out.
Fight is reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami.
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. I think everybody's going to get what they've finally been waiting for.
Dana,
Wait, you don't-
Dana White had to say, we all know how he feel about Jake Paul, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I mean? The next little clip that you're going to see is just more of the netizens speaking out on the fight with Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. Check the rest of these clips out.
on punch power, you know it takes a lot more than that to be a great fighter. A lot more than that to be a great fighter. So there's various ways I'll win. But I've got the fighter spirit, and that's how I'll go in there and break him down with my spirit.
After this.
But he can't though. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not even equipped to fight this dude. He's not. It's going to have to be a bunch of stuff in there. Joshua will punish this man.
It's impossible for somebody like Anthony Joshua, who is so big and so strong, to even think he's going to take it easy. Because even if he tries to take it easy, he's so powerful, so strong that even those punches that are being easy are still going to hurt.
Anthony Joshua has warned Jake Paul at the press conference, saying he is being delusional for thinking he can beat him. He reportedly added that he is taking this fight mainly for the money, treating it as a business decision, and made it clear that inside the ring he remains the far superior fighter.
I knock AJ out. I deliver what I supposed to deliver years ago. I deliver what they ran from. I deliver what he asked for $50 million for. I'm going to give him a $50 million knockout.
I honestly listen to what people say sometimes. They're avoided, this person's running. I honestly think some people are deluded. Really, I do think that they've got some sort of a long-term concussion, because no one's running. In terms of 50 million, I'm a businessman. If there's 50 million on the table, you think I'm not going to take it for a fight?
Chris Algieri explains that this fight offers Anthony Joshua a perfect opportunity to return to the ring. After a period of inactivity following his last loss, Joshua can use this matchup as a stepping stone to rebuild confidence and regain competitive rhythm. The fight provides a chance to earn a significant purse while keeping risks low, almost like a controlled sparring session. Algieri highlights that Joshua benefits financially, mentally, and physically, making this matchup a strategic choice for a comeback.
What are we talking here? Like, it's going to be an exhibition? No, it's a fight. You're a heavyweight. You're calling out heavyweights. You're calling out a heavyweight. You're calling out Anthony Joshua, former world champion. You're calling him out on short notice. It's a fight. You're going to wear 10-ounce gloves and you're going to fight 10 rounds, and that's what it is. I don't understand any idea of anything else. Oh, it's going to be 8-2s. Is it going to be 15-ounce gloves? What the hell are we doing? This is boxing. You want to fight a real guy? You're fighting a real guy, which I am very respectful, and I respect the hell out of Jake Paul if he does step in the ring with Anthony Joshua. No matter what happens, kid's got balls of steel, and I applaud you.
Well, the reason I say we don't know yet because Jake Paul has fought in his last fight with Gervonta Davis was going to be an exhibition. They had to do that because of the weight difference. This is still a weight difference here. I mean, Anthony.
No, there's not. No, it's not. It's heavyweight. It's the same weight class.
Well, what do you consider Jake Paul? Cruiserweight or heavyweight?
Heavyweight. How much did he weigh his last fight?
He's fought a cruiserweight. He's also fought a heavyweight. Against Tyson was a heavyweight.
What was his last fight? He's a cruiser. He's heavyweight.
What was
he
his
was two?
fight? His last fight was a cruiser against Chavez. Whatever, you know what I mean. Like the reason Gervonta Davis fight.
He fought Chavez after Tyson. I guess Tyson was that long ago. Wow.
Yeah, it was a year ago. This week, I was looking at my Instagram memories. I was in Dallas, Texas, getting ready for me pooping my pants on Netflix. That was about a year ago. Exhibition. These are questions that are asked. These are questions that are attached to Jake Paul events.
Eddie Hearn explains that Anthony Joshua is definitely interested in the fight with Jake Paul, but they must approach it with caution due to Paul's unpredictable behavior. He notes that Jake has a history.
I'm sick of seeing hypocrite fighters and ex-fighters criticizing this fight when they would fight Jake Paul for 5
Absolutely
minutes.
right. He will be fighting for a world title soon, off the back of this one. So let me finish.
Pack it in.
After he beats Jake Paul and ices him, and he's got to do that in 3 minutes, by the way, otherwise it's a lose situation again. There's a certain Fabio Wardley who's just become WBO world champion. Yeah. That could manifest itself, and that could be his route back into.
So let me get this right. We all know what this is. This isn't real sport. This is entertainment value.
Yeah.
The sport factor is that we think that Jake Paul's going to get knocked out of the ring, but when it comes down to it, there's no real legitimacy behind this fight, behind a big bag of money. The metrics of this fight, and Paul's absolutely right. The hypocrisy of people saying that this is a disgrace for him taking this fight. Everyone will run towards this fight because the opportunity is so commercially big. Netflix will pay $100 million all day for this fight. Even the Saudis won't pay this kind of dough for that kind of fight. When they put Mike Tyson on against Jake Paul, they managed to achieve an extra 2 million new subscribers. The lifetime value of a Netflix subscriber is $900. That means out of paying Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, who reported 90 million, they generated 1.8 billion in additional fees.
You know what I'm saying? That was Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? More netizens and people speaking on that. You know what I mean? Now, Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's all exhibition fights. You know what I'm saying? All these fights are exhibition fights. We don't know if they're sanctioned. They're not sanctioned by, you know what I'm saying, no official boxing federation or association or none of that. You know what I mean? So, being that it's an exhibition, they can do whatever they want with these contracts. You know what I'm saying? Write them up however they want to write them. That's why you got fucking 100-pound fighters fighting 200, 300-pound fighters, and they in the same ring together. You know what I mean? This is because it is an exhibition fight. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the clauses is. It's hard to say or tell when that's it, when that is not transparent as far as Jake Paul's fights go. You know what I mean? Anthony Joshua is definitely a real boxer, though. You know what I'm saying? Who definitely got potential to KO him. You feel me? He definitely a bigger dude. Definitely in another weight class. You know what I'm saying? From Jake Paul. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. It's just a money grab. I think he's supposed to be getting like 30-something million, 39 million or something like that. And this is on a comeback route for Joshua. You know what I'm saying? I think he just recently lost or something like that, or he was gone now for a minute after an AO didn't box for a long time. So it's always these cases that it comes around to that Jake Paul is fighting somebody who ain't fought, somebody who been washed up, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? But we'll see. We all gonna watch though, you know what I'm saying? Because we all want to see potentially him getting KO'd. Because people was just tired of him paving the way by his money. You know what I'm saying? Shedeur Sanders' home was robbed. You know what I'm saying? Like he was at his debut game playing against the Ravens, I believe. You know what I'm saying? They said the robbers took about $200K worth of belongings. But Shedeur was hyped, as you'll hear him see in the press conference. Then I'm gonna show you in the clips. At least they didn't take my jewelry. You know what I'm saying? They said he in a cool headspace and nothing really can faze him right now. You know what I'm saying? So the next little clips you're gonna see is clips. TMZ reported on this, so you're gonna hear clips about this incident. You're gonna see camera footage of the invaders coming in the home and all that. Check these clips out.
The Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders' house was also broken into over the weekend while he was playing against the Baltimore Ravens.
Sanders is the latest. Police there in suburban Ohio saying his home was broken into. 3 masked men in masks and gloves break in shortly after around 6:40 or so. It all lasts about 12 minutes. They make off with $200,000 worth of property. No suspects so far. They did say surveillance picked it up, so they do have some video evidence of what happened, but obviously the case still very much
Hate me, don't you?
This is the footage from the burglary that occurred at Shedeur Sanders' home in Ohio during his debut versus the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. Officials told TMZ Sports that $200,000 worth of property was stolen. According to a new press release, 3 suspects entered the home wearing masks and gloves around 6:46 p.m. Suspects then left at 6:58 with, quote, various property belonging to Mr. Sanders. This incident is still under investigation, and people have theorized that the culprits could be someone close to Shedeur. But what do you guys think?
Hate me, don't you?
Yeah, mentally, emotionally, I'm in a great place overall. In life, it's always going to be adversity. Things aren't always going to go, as planned, but I would say, I'm prepared for everything.
Shedeur, as you've worked behind the scenes, obviously we haven't gotten to see you at practice since training camp, but what are you most proud of, I guess, with your development so far, and where do you feel like you've grown?
I would say definitely, I would say mentally, emotionally. I know this is a trending topic that my house got broken into, but I'm in a mental space now to where it's not too much that could faze me. Honestly, that's going on, and none of my jewelry got took anyway. So, by the way, none of my jewelry got took. So now, it's just caught slipping. It happens.
You know what I mean? I was seeing people talking about this Shedeur Sanders in his home getting robbed. You know what I'm saying? This has been going on. Apparently, this is some type of trend. You know what I mean? With celebrities. You know what I'm saying? Whenever they know that they are gone or they are well known to the public, that they are on tour, at a game, these houses is getting hit with these people coming in the houses knowing they're not there. You know what I'm saying? This has been happening a whole lot. And Shedeur Sanders was happening to want to get hit. It's cool to see he in a cool little headspace, though, saying that nothing can faze him no more these days. But now we know the NFL been putting him through a little ringer. You know what I'm saying? As far as what team he gonna play on, getting bounced around, people not trusting in his potential and all this. A lot of stuff that's been going on with Shedeur Sanders, you know what I mean? Let alone this was just another piece of stuff happening to him by somebody robbing his house. Now, they said they took about $200,000 worth of jewelry, you know what I mean? That's a lot. And they didn't even touch $200,000 worth of stuff, of property belongings, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't touch the jewelry. So I wonder what else they could have got, you know what I'm saying? If they didn't touch the jewelry yet, you still got $200,000 worth of stuff, you know what I mean? But it's good to see him in a nice little headspace after somebody coming up in your house. That'll definitely make you uneasy as a man, knowing that somebody broke into your house and stole some stuff. You feel me? That is definitely makes a night's rage and all kind of anger in you. You feel me? Because then you get to thinking of what type of scumbag, piece of who would break in the house, you feel me? Then it enrages you. Then it makes you uneasy. It makes you want to go grab all kind of Glocks, FMs, ARs, you know what I'm saying? And be ready for the next time a mother come breaking in your house, you know what I mean? Let's not get carried away.
Wait me, don't you?
New info on this David case. You know what I mean? New info is coming on this David case. You know what I'm saying? They investigating how he had went out to Santa Barbara. You know what I'm saying? Way out in the woods at some remote location in the middle of the night on the late night hours. Said he was there for 7 hours. Excuse me. Pardon this interruption. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if you ain't hit that subscribe button, go on and hit that shit right now. You know what I mean? At this particular moment and time in the middle of the video, now's your time to hit that subscribe button. You feel me? Hit the like button. Go ahead and comment on what you think or what you might think about something that I'm saying. Comment on it. You feel me? Hit that comment. You know what I mean? Hit that comment button. Leave your little comment. I'll definitely see it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But hit that subscribe button. No, tell somebody about it. You know what I mean? Hit that subscribe button if you ain't already. You know what I'm saying? What you waiting for? You know what I mean? And tell somebody about this shit so somebody else can watch this too. And remember to share this shit also. Put this on your social media and all that. You know what I mean? Let's get back to the episode. So they are deeply looking, investigating into that. They got the data from the Tesla saying that they for sure know he drove there and was there for about 7 hours, they say. You know what I mean? Being that he was named the suspect, now they looking at people involved and looking at everything going on around it. Why was you out there for 7 hours? What was you doing? And all this, you know what I mean? And they said that he definitely had some help, being that she was chopped up. You know what I mean? They definitely said that he couldn't have done it by himself. You know what I mean? So these next little clips you're gonna see, it's just people talking on it, and also Kadisha Lynn is also speaking on this new information, and also TMZ, a news clip of somebody talking to TMZ speaking on this information. Check these clips out.
Information coming out about Celeste Rivas Hernandez and David. After finding out yesterday that David is being viewed as a suspect, and also finding out that he's never cooperated with this investigation despite his PR team saying otherwise at the very beginning of this, we are now finding out from NBC Los Angeles that David is not even in LA. He actually went to Texas. And this is a huge deal, especially when you pair this with the timeline of things that he has been doing since this happened. Now, mind you, David was on tour when Celeste was found in the trunk of his Tesla on September 8th, but she wasn't identified until September 16th. This was a whole week of the cops waiting to figure out who Celeste was, and the media was reporting different details about her. The tattoo on her finger, her hair, what she was wearing, how much she weighed, and David was on tour and he didn't say a word. Then finally, a week later on September 16th, they were able to positively identify Celeste. And the next day after IDing her is when they would raid the LA home. And then all of a sudden you saw David's PR team saying that David was flying back to LA and he was cooperating with this investigation. You know, a couple days later after those reportings, then all of a sudden David's manager broke his lease and they said David moved out of that LA mansion. 2 days after the cops positively identified Celeste as being the one in the trunk, on September 18th, David would switch one of his Texas homes into his mother's name. And then 4 days later, he would do it again on September 22nd with another one of his homes that he owns in Texas. Not long after this, we found out that David retained an attorney called Blair Burke, who is a famous attorney who has represented people like Harvey Weinstein, Kanye West, and more. In my opinion, none of this makes sense. This man was continuing to perform when they were trying to figure out who Celeste was with no care in the world, not saying anything, and they couldn't figure out who she was. And then the second that they ID'd her and he knew about it, that was it. All his shows got canceled, and this is where we see the domino effect of everything happening. On top of figuring out that David is in Texas and he's not even in LA anymore, we also figured out from police that they are actually talking to multiple people that are close to David. People who they are claiming have connections to this case. I find this to be a big deal because the cops are also saying that they don't believe that David worked alone at trying to get rid of Celeste because she was not intact. So in my opinion, I feel like why they put out this information that they are viewing David as a suspect and they are confirming that Celeste was not intact and they are viewing this as a unaliving case, it's to try to get somebody to crack that is around him. And they're probably hoping the person that they get to is the person that they are assuming helped try to conceal Celeste. As mind you, in California, a concealment charge is only a misdemeanor. If that happens, that's pretty much all they need. I also heard from TMZ last night that they are saying that they believe that Celeste passed away in early spring, and they are looking into a trip that David took to Santa Barbara County around this time for 7 hours. And according to the source that talked to TMZ, this trip took place in the nighttime hours. But TMZ did come back today saying that they were able to confirm that David did take this trip, and the LAPD is looking into it because they were able to pull data about him going on this trip. I assume this is probably data from the Tesla because we do know that the cops were trying to pull data from the Tesla. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
This David case, you know what I mean? It's just a lot been happening. Like I said yesterday when I updated y'all on this, a whole lot of tight lips going on. A whole lot of people just ain't speaking like they should on this. I don't know why they not speaking on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, dude must be in some type of high place or know people in high places. He got a high position. Whatever he doing, you feel me, for people to be keeping this quiet and wanting to so-called, it seem like sweeping under the rug. You know what I mean? We are the only people YouTubing about this, vlogging about this. The only people seem to be talking about this case still. You know what I mean? This ain't even hitting national news. This is hitting like internet news sources, you know what I mean? And stuff like that of that nature, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know though, but I hope they definitely seem like they cracking down and getting closer and closer to finding out who was really truly behind this though, you know what I'm saying? Seem like he's definitely digging. It's just definitely taking, I guess, more time than us netizens and people expected it to take, you know what I'm saying? But it seems like they're getting down to it. Swastikas and nooses, you know what I mean? Swastikas, nooses, Confederate flags is no longer going to be looked at as hate symbols by the U.S. Coast Guard, you know what I'm saying? So in the military, racist symbols is not going to be looked at as hate symbols, they say. They say they're not hate symbols, they say they are just potentially divisive. So, man, yeah, so they're not going to be looked at as hate symbols no more in the military, you know what I mean? So a soldier could be walking around and got a swastika patch on his arm, and that's all to the good now, you know what I mean? So these next little clips you're going to see is just people speaking on this egregious matter. Check it out.
We have some major news right now. Bipartisan outrage has exploded on Capitol Hill after the United States Coast Guard under Kristi Noem say that in the next month, they're no longer going to classify nooses and swastikas as hate symbols, according to Washington Post reporting. It's a bombshell of really epic proportions. They're no longer going to be recognizing swastikas and nooses as hate symbols because they could be too divisive, according to the Washington Post. And Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, who's responsible for all of this, she's getting massive pushback, massive pressure right now from Republicans and Democrats on Capitol Hill because this is just unacceptable to everyone. Everyone is literally saying, what the hell is happening with the United States Coast Guard? Why are we going to now allow Coast Guard members to potentially wear swastikas or paint a noose somewhere when they're clearly hate symbols and they shouldn't be allowed? So that's where we're at as a nation right now. Spread the word. I'll provide you more updates as we get more information. Spread the word. Follow along, stay updated on all the news that you need to know about.
Breaking news: the Coast Guard will no longer classify swastikas or nooses as hate symbols. According to a review of both the 2023 and 2025 Coast Guard civil rights policies by Newsweek, the older version directly listed swastikas, nooses, and Confederate flags as examples of potential hate incidents. The new version drops the list and instead refers to such imagery as potentially divisive. Good news! Swastikas aren't hate symbols, they're now just potentially divisive. But whatever could be behind this? The policy shift follows Trump administration's directives to loosen hazing and harassment rules, which Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has argued were too broad. Newsweek has reached out to the Coast Guard and Pentagon via email on Thursday afternoon for comment, which they, at the time of my recording this, have not yet given. Isn't it great that America's great again? Doesn't it feel amazing how great we're getting? This is us getting great again, right? Swastikas are not a problem in the U.S. military anymore. It's just potentially divisive. You know, if there's a Jewish member of the Coast Guard, they might feel some kind of way about it. But otherwise, we're great again.
You know what I'm saying? Those people that can't believe this, just like me, can't believe it. What? You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me that you can't be in the military and create a patch and put a swastika on your arm and walk around defending the country, and it ain't looked at as no type of hate symbol, no racism, and none of that. You know what I'm saying? What the is going on where these are not going to be looked at as hate symbols when that's exactly what they are? You know what I'm saying? Moose, that's not going to be looked at as a hate symbol. Somebody come and spray paint a moose on my house, you know what I'm saying, on my garage. They can't go to jail or get caught for a hate crime. If somebody comes and spray paints a swastika on my house, on my windows or something, and they find out who it is, you can't add hate crime to that because they're not going to be no longer looked at as hate symbols. This is wild. You know what I'm saying? This is some crazy. This is the type that flies under the radar. New laws that they implement that just people won't be talking about too much. You know what I'm saying? This stuff needs to be known, spread. You know what I mean? Because what the, man, divisive, potentially divisive instead of a hate symbol. Confederate flags, nooses, and swastikas. You know what I'm saying? Potentially divisive and not hate symbols no more. U.S. Coast Guard is, man, that is wild, yo. You know what I'm saying? That's some wild business. That this country is heading down. That's where we going. You know what I'm saying? Along with this AI on the rise, and now we finna just pretty much saying that, oh, this is not a hate symbol. It's potentially divisive. Only it's not hate. Like, get out of here, man. But that's all I got for today, though. You know what I'm saying? Episode 334. You know what I mean? In case you might have been pulled up, got too drunk, man, you was too loaded, you rolled up some of that good, and they got you too loaded, or the kids was fighting, you had to go check on them and pull them apart, and all this while the episode was on, and you missed it. This is everything that I just let you know. You know what I'm saying? Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua is going to be fighting December 19th. People were skeptical about it being rigged up. You know what I mean? Also let you know about Shedeur Sanders' home being robbed while he was at his debut game playing against the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? And he was just hyped that they didn't take none of his jewelry. Also let you know about the David case. You know what I mean? How he potentially drove out to Santa Barbara at a remote location at the late hours in the morning for 7 hours, and now they're saying ain't no way that he could have did this by himself. He's now looked at as a suspect, and they are looking at a bunch of other people involved that was involved in pictures and so forth. Also, let you know that swastikas, nooses, and Confederate flags is not going to be looked at as hate symbols no more by the U.S. Coast Guard and the military coming in 2026. They said they not hate symbols, they're just potentially divisive. But that's everything we went over today for episode 334. You know what I mean? Hope I kept you informed on this wicked world. Thanks for letting me keep you informed on this wicked world. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for tuning in, because we all know you could have been doing anything you wanted to do, no matter who you was. You know what I mean? Whether you was a man, a woman, whether you was a girl, a boy, a niece, a nephew, a auntie, a uncle, a grandfather, a mother, a father, you feel me? Whether you was cousin Nunu, cousin P, cousin Man, cousin Moogie. And if y'all got pets that's sitting there and you ain't watching this right along with you, whether your pet is a pet dog, a cat, you have a pet hyena, a pet hedgehog, you can have a pet squirrel, a pet bearded dragon, a pet alligator, you can have a pet lion, a pet tiger, whoever your pet is, you feel me? As long as they watching, I definitely salute to them. You know what I'm saying? Like you see the homie scrubbing up the screen, you know what I mean? But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching, though. You know what I'm saying? The beat you hear creeping up in the background was made by my oldest son, beats by JJ, you know what I mean? So let this beat slap in the background while my comments of these topics load up and these credits rolling up the screen. You know what I mean? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I'll see y'all next episode.
Wait me, don't you?
That they don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand? Stand up.